Sometimes as service advisors, we're giving tasks or processes that we have to do or we're supposed to do, and it's laid on us by the store, the group, the service manager, whoever it may be, and they're not always explained thoroughly, at least to our satisfaction as a service advisor, so we just don't do it. And maybe it's because we don't understand it. So what I like to do sometimes on these is go into what I call the why behind the why, or why are we really doing this? What is driving this? Because if we don't understand it and buy into it, we're only going to do it when somebody's watching, or when we feel like it, or if our pay is incentivized. But if it is a benefit to us as a service advisor and as a department, why wouldn't we do it? So let's see if we can make some sense out of this one. We're going to talk about setting the next appointment for a scheduled maintenance service. Before we get into the why behind the why that I was just talking about, we're going to talk about some of the pushback I hear from advisors, and then we'll move into the other, because there is a lot of pushback from customers. And I'll just give you a secret, just so you know. I don't know if you want to tell anybody this. Not every process works with every customer every time. So don't expect to set appointments for all your customers going forward. And if the next customer you try and set an appointment with doesn't let you do it, you didn't prove me wrong. What we want to do is try and get a couple more customers to set appointments. It's not going to be everybody. Number one. Number two, the biggest pushback I hear is, I don't know my schedule. We're in the military. We don't even know what continent we're going to be living on in 6 months, or whatever the time frame may be to their next scheduled maintenance. And all of those are valid. However, let's just change what we call this appointment thing. Let's call it a flexible appointment, or let's call it a reservation. It's not something you got to do or you're in trouble. We're giving reminders. Here's our goal. We want to make sure that we keep customers' vehicles so well maintained that they don't have any surprise breakdowns. I think we can agree on that. The way we do that is by getting them back in here for the scheduled maintenances. We do that by looking at the tires before they're dangerous and the brakes and all of those things. So that's what we're aiming at. So Mr. and Mrs. Customer that says, I don't know my schedule 3 months from now. Hey, not a problem. We call this a soft appointment here at our dealership. And what we do is we send you an email out 3 days before to remind you of the appointment time. So here's my card, by the way. It's got 24/7 voicemail. If that ends up not being the right day, do me a favor, call me, leave me a voicemail whenever you can. I will rearrange it as best I can to fit your reality. We need to get this reframed in our minds as service advisors and in the minds of our customers. We're using appointments to work with their schedule and with the schedule that the car needs to keep to have the services done so it doesn't break down. That's all we're trying to do. We're trying to match those two things. We call it appointments. You can call it reservation, whatever you want. Here we go with the why behind the why stuff I was telling you about. So as a service advisor, there are some benefits to you setting the next appointment for your customer and explaining things to them. And I'll give you an example of myself. I remember so many times when I was writing service, I would have a customer come in, they're a regular customer, they've got an appointment, everything's going well. I look at the odometer, it's at the 30 or the 60 or the 90. And of course I ask if they've had these services done elsewhere, and to let them know that we haven't had them, that we have not done them here. And I say, hey, it's going to need filter, fluid. I'm going to need the car for half of the day. I can get it back to you by 3 o'clock. And then everything stalls out because they look at me as if I have two heads and say, oil change, half hour, or something like that. Frustrating, right? We've all had it happen if we're honest. What I did is I asked myself some serious questions. And I said, when you last saw them, active delivery at last visit, what'd you tell them? I'm thinking, I don't know, what did I tell them? Hey, I said, thanks for your business, have a good day, hope your kid wins a soccer game, you're going to get a survey. And I didn't say anything about the next service. We got to prep them for this stuff. Humans do not like surprises, especially unnecessary surprises. It is completely unnecessary for a customer to roll onto your service drive for scheduled maintenance and have no idea what's coming. We are on a roll. Let's talk about another why behind the why. This one is going to be, let's control how many cars are on the service drive. Let me go back in time a little bit. Okay, a lot. I remember when they first started talking about appointments on service drives, and I remember right where I was standing, it was on a Ford service drive in Norco, California, laughing out loud. There will never be appointments at dealership. There are too many variables. There's no way we can schedule them. Customers will over-expect what an appointment means and so on. And you know what? That was actually pretty true for a while. The appointment systems at dealerships were terrible, but they're getting better. And you know what? I think we can make them even a little better. Here's an example. You have busy times of the week and you have slow times of the week. We all have them. And I mentioned earlier in the video, this isn't going to work on everybody. But if it works on one person, it worked on that person and it helped. So here's what I'm thinking. We're finishing out the day. We're doing our active delivery. We're talking with a customer and they're telling us about their week and all those great things. We say, hey, I'm going to set up the next appointment for you. The last visit was 5,000 miles. That was 3 months ago. We're going to go forward 3 months. January, February, March is going to be April 1st or whatever it may be. Then you say, today was a pretty busy morning for us. It's Mondays. They're always busy. I could get you in here on a Wednesday. I mean, if that works for your schedule, we can get you in and out of here more smoothly. Are Wednesdays good or bad? So if we take one person off of Monday and put them on Wednesday, or you use whatever example you want to, we have, on a small scale, controlled our flow of the service drive. So I said I thought appointments were a mistake in the early 90s, and I thought they went poorly for a long time, and they did. You know how they got better? Just like that. One customer at a time, one appointment at a time. The more often you offer to make an appointment, and you tailor somehow where that appointment lands in your week, you're controlling your service drive. Let's try that. All right, there's one more why behind the why. This one is about key tossers. We've heard of them, you've seen them, maybe you've had them. But here's the point. If you have key tossers, congratulations, because you've earned them. Customers inherently don't trust repair facilities, car dealerships, and so on. So when you get a customer to the point where they're saying, hey, here's the keys, I'll see you when I see you, take care of my car, cost us no object, all those things we love to hear. There's one big thing we can do to drive us closer to that situation, and that is tell them what's going to happen at the next service. As I said, people do not like surprises. And hey, maybe they're not all going to be key tossers, but maybe from having a very smooth experience, the customers say, you know what, this is my advisor. I really like the way they do it. And they may not even be able to put their finger on the thing that really turned the tide, and maybe you can't either. But I guarantee, the more customers you set appointments for, the more people that are going to say, this is my service advisor for life.